feel like through 3 games we haven't done the things we've felt like we would be able to do in certain games, whether that be setting guys up for certain things, finishing plays, executing plays. We haven't achieved the standard we expect for ourselves. And so that's something we'll continue to chase. And that's an ongoing process forever and always. I think if you have a little bit of success early in those games where maybe we stalled out in certain situations, it changes the feeling, it changes the rest of the game as you go. But, we're going to keep plugging, keep chipping away at it until we get this thing turned.
Do you think in any way do you sense that Calvin's in any kind of a funk, or is it just one or two games where, since the first half of the Indy game, he's been very quiet?
Yeah, no, I don't get that sense. Just talking to him, the way he works, observing him, having been together now for a couple months and things like that. I feel like he's a guy that just continues to put his head down, continues to work, and I think a couple of those plays that maybe he didn't come up with, he'll get an opportunity to come up with here pretty quickly, and that'll kind of turn the tide for a lot of that and maybe change the narrative.
Less than 30% on third down so far this year. How do you improve there?
There's a lot of things when you look through it, whether it be protection, batted balls here and there, catching here and there, making decisions here and there. So, I think as we look into it, everybody's had their hand in this. So as a unit, there's not one certain person, group that has kind of let us down where you'd think you could make this certain change right here. I think it's just everybody kind of in some way, shape, or form doing the best at their job at that given time, whatever that may be. So, I think, especially early on in the season, 3 games in, small sample size, quickly you have one successful game in there and it flips the numbers. So I understand the rankings and all that, but we go in, we watch every play individually. We try to diagnose what was the issue with that play, what happened, why was this not successful or not efficient, and go through the entire game with that to provide context for each situation. And so it's not something we feel like there's one glaring issue or this change will fix all of that. It's just something everybody just continue to put their head down, do their job at the best of their ability, and we'll come out on the other side of this.
We've had some key drop passes in the first couple of weeks that probably would put the offense in better positions down the field. Do you just look at that as some of those small mistakes that kind of add up to bigger problems?
I think so. And I think that's part of, obviously not sustaining a drive, whether it be a batted ball, a sack, an inefficient run, whatever that may be, that keeps you out of getting that rhythm within a drive, getting more plays here and there to where you really get flowing. When you're in first down, second down, first down, second down, that's a lot better than going first down, second down, third and 1, first down, second down, third and 2. Just that routine of a drive or that momentum of a drive, we haven't been able to really sustain that at this point in time. But again, we don't feel like there's any one major issue that it's that right there. It's just everybody doing their job a little bit better.
Did you like what you saw early from the run game, and is that something you build on?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we established a physical tone, I think, to start that game with some of the runs we hit. Came back the second half, had a variety of runs, kind of got that drive going. And then, the fourth quarter, the game kind of gets away from you. You play the game a little bit differently. But we were encouraged with what we saw in the run game. I think the biggest thing with this league is, it's a play-to-play basis. So because we had success at some point in time in that game running the ball, that doesn't carry over to this week. You play a different team, different scheme, different personnel, and you got to do what you need to do to execute against that look each play.
How do you feel about the play of the offensive line after 3 games?
I think it's been hit or miss here and there. There's been some things we've done well. There's been some things we need to get better at. We've played some pretty good fronts. I feel like as we've gone through, there's always going to be in this league, there's always somebody on every single defensive line that's a problem, 1, maybe 2, as you get into it. But it's been up and down. I think as an entire unit, we need more consistency across the board. And I think everybody in that room would agree, coaching staff, we'd all agree with that as well. We need to do our jobs better than we've done to be able to get ourselves out to the other side of this thing.
Is there a rhythm to play calling for a full game? You have to find that, sweet spot?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of just, it's an ebb and flow within a drive, within a game as things are working. We spend Monday to Saturday coming up with a plan of attack. We kind of try to execute that plan the first quarter of games. Then you kind of play off the adjustments in the second quarter. You play off the halftime, first half adjustments in the third quarter, and the fourth quarter just kind of go in, whatever that looks like. It may be you're in 4-minute mode, 2-minute mode, desperation mode, whatever that is. So it kind of, the game is always kind of changing, but you're trying to certainly establish that flow and find that flow within it, yes.
Is there such a thing as trying too hard?
Probably, yeah. I don't know. I couldn't tell you if guys are trying too hard, not trying hard enough. Then that's something everybody themselves would tell you. But I think there's a certain time where things aren't going your way, and maybe it builds the frustration. Do you get out of character? Do you execute the way you know how to execute, the way we've trained them to execute? Like, I think that comes up, but I think that's a case-by-case, more personal situation.
Do you guys still have confidence in Tank?
We do, absolutely.
The mistakes in the first game, is that in the past?
Yes.
Or-
Yeah, I believe so. And Tank, just like anybody, we're all going to learn from every single experience we go through. So, you want each of your players to learn from every play that happens. You love it when they learn from plays that happen to other people and continue to grow. And that's something we feel like we've seen out of Tank as we've gone on. But all our guys, just learn, get better every single rep as we go into this thing.
Do you feel Trevor's feeling just a little bit rushed sometimes to get the ball out, maybe a half second or a second earlier than he really wants to on some plays because the protection isn't quite crisp?
Again, I don't know. Maybe it's a case-by-case thing. I think in the fourth quarter of that game the other day, we're in a drop-back desperation mode, and things changed a little bit. And I think there were probably times he would tell you, maybe I could have hung in there another half second on a read, whatever that may be. But in terms of the way we expect things to operate and things like that, outside of that fourth quarter where the complexion of the game was different, I don't know that I'd sense that.
How would you assess Trevor's performance through 3 games? His numbers suggest that he's okay, but not.
I think it's been similar to the rest of the unit. I think just more consistency across the board. I think that's all of us. That's myself. That's the offensive staff. That's every position group you could think of. Just being more consistent every single down, doing your individual job at the highest possible level. And again, that goes to every person in our offensive room.
Fast starts offensively has been something you guys have been trying to figure out, dating all the way back to last year. How is it maybe scripting plays differently to start the game? Is it guys just take a little while to kind of get into the flow of the game? Have you guys figured out why there's those slow starts?
Not necessarily. I mean, we felt like we had an opportunity the other day in the game. We had created a good matchup, had an opportunity to make a play, didn't make a play. So I think, again, it's all case by case. It's easy to say one certain thing has been an issue, but when we watch it and we put context to every play and why things happen, why things don't happen, I think that's more of what you're trying to diagnose as a coaching staff. And then how do we fix that big picture? But I don't know that it's necessarily like I think we had the ability to start fast the other day. We didn't make a play. And then it comes down to you miss a field goal. Then now the whole dynamic of the game certainly changes after that first drive. If you catch the ball and score, or we call something different early on and get somebody an opportunity early on, I mean, that's something we're always trying to search for as an entire unit.
What does
I know
Falcons do
you're-
well?
I know you're more interested in, you gotta worry about what's in front of you, but league-wide, offense is down, but, and all the teams with good offense supposedly have had their moments where they struggle. Cincinnati, Buffalo, I guess Miami's the only one that hasn't. But, you have any particular theories as to why offense is down a little bit?
I don't. No, I don't. No, I've really just kind of been focused on us. Honestly, I've maybe caught a game here or there as it's gone on, but I really couldn't tell you I've paid attention. I think again, it's easy to make general statements about everything, but I think watching everything play by play, understanding why things are happening, why they're not happening, what somebody's plan of attack. That's the other thing. It's hard to say. If you do watch another offense, like as we watch offenses play against our opponents that we're watching, it's hard to say what they're being asked to do. And if you don't know what they're being asked to do, it's hard to say this is why they're struggling, that's why someone's so struggling, or that's what's making a play difficult. So we try to focus in on us, putting our players in the best possible position to attack the opponent we're playing that week or that given play based on the situation we're in.
What do the Falcons do well defensively?
They're physical. They do a really good job of being a physical unit. They got a big physical interior front seven. I think on the outside, they're doing a good job of being physical with receivers. They brought in a couple free agents that have really added to their team personnel-wise. We had the opportunity to practice with them last year, so we have a feel for some of the people personnel-wise, but now they're obviously playing in a different scheme. Adding Jesse Bates to the back end has been a big thing for them. He's got, I think, 3 picks already through 3 games. He changes just the complexion of the back end based on how rangy he is as a safety, how instinctive he is, and they're letting him make plays. But then bringing in, Bud Dupree, Calais Campbell, having Grady Jarrett, that's a physical unit that makes the game hard and kind of want to turn it into a fist fight. And then on the outside, they've been aggressive and physical in coverage that, the way they played Detroit, making it hard to get off into speed and space a little bit. So.